Triumph prepared their Bonneville 900 high-torque engine, which drives the contemporary classic T100, for MY 2021. With quicker throttle responses and a higher red line than ever before, the new version is both powerful and cleaner. The lighter chassis and new, top-of-the-line Brembo brake parts are floated by redesigned forks, making the T100 safer and more enjoyable to ride. The teardrop tank's traditional cutout design, which includes knee pads and a chrome brand emblem, seems if it came directly out of a historical text. It combines with a bench-style seat that is almost flat to create a classic flyline and tons of Britishness. The frame, side covers, rear fender, blinker housings, and the majority of the drivetrain are all painted in blackout paint. Genuine experience can never be replaced, and Triumph has plenty of it when it comes to the Bonneville-powered T100. Across the spectrum of 3 color packages that include an all-black basic model, enough blackout treatment is a constant. Between identically darkened fork sliders, fender, triple clump, headlight can, and dual-gauge housings are blackout rims and hubs. Losing weight is usually beneficial for agility, and the new T100 rolls about 9 pounds lighter than the previous model. When the 18-inch hoop is taken into account, the steering head creates a rake angle of 25.5 degrees from the vertical, which gives way to 4.1 inches of trail to settle deep in the agile end of the range. The double down-tube double cradle construction is made up of tubular steel components, and the steel, yoke-style swingarm has a D cross-section for added strength. Despite being hidden most of the time, the frame establishes the seam and gives the T100 a form that is compared to the ubiquitous UJMs of the 1960s and 1970s in Britain. In order to eliminate the cradle portion of the skeleton, the drivetrain is supported by the frame design, rather than being used as a stressed element. The rolling chassis rear is completed with a 17-inch rim and 2 coilover shocks, which offer the only suspension adjustment with adjustable spring preload. There is potential for improvement in that area, but this year's front end is supported by a set of 41mm cartridge-style forks over an 18-incher, which is a little improvement over last year. The rubber measures 190ths in front of 150/70ths. With a single front brake, a twin-piston Brembo anchor, a 310mm disc, and factory ABS on both ends, the T100 weighs 503 pounds wet. The rear brakes are 255mm discs with twin-pot Nissan anchors. Although it may appear to be a vintage 180-out twin, this Bonneville engine has a 270-degree crankshaft offset, giving it a low but idle that is somewhat reminiscent of a V-twin sound. The configuration, which is nearly square, has an 84.6mm bore and 80mm stroke, for a displacement total of 900 cc, with a mid-range compression ratio of 11:1 that will tolerate mid-grade push-a-line without experiencing any negative consequences. The T100's engine not only has a brand new EU5 emissions rating, but the engineers also managed to accomplish it while adding another 10 horsepower, bringing its total output to 64.1 horsepower at 7,400 RPM. The mill's broad tractable power band is provided by a torque peak of 59 pound-feet at 3,750 RPM, which occurs rather low in the rev range. Only the ABS is present to assist you in keeping the vehicle dirty side down. Electronic fuel injection controls the induction in each of the 2 throttle bodies. There are no further engine management features, such as traction control or a quick shifter, to further complicate matters. Some could view that as a drawback, but I believe it's a net plus, especially for a possible first bike. The T100 may also be purchased with an A2 compliant tuning kit to fulfill rules if you live in a region with tiered licensing. The full-strength version's top speed is somewhere about 115 miles per hour.